everyone, I am back with another book related video and I am Catherine, and as always please like and subscribe to my channel. And today we are going to be talking about some books I got for Christmas and some books I ordered during the month of December, and some of them are going to be from Book of the Month, some of them are just going to be ones that I bought at Barnes & Noble, some of them are going to be from Amazon, because Amazon is another great way to get books. So is Book of the Month. Book of the Month is a monthly subscription and you can get up to 3 books, and they release new books every month, and a lot of them are early releases, and you can add on books, you can take books off. Some of these books, like Alex North, there's another one, Riley Sager, you can get some of his books from there, and there's some other authors on there that I haven't read, and you can get thrillers, you can get romance, you can get literary fiction, nonfiction, things like that. And I've been using it for about 2 months and I actually really enjoy it, and I highly recommend it if you are an avid reader. So let's get into this video, and we are going to talk about what I got for Christmas and the books that I got. So a lot of them are books related that I got for Christmas. So let's get into it. So the first thing that I got for Christmas, they are book covers, and I got 2 of them. And then the next thing that I got, it's Harry Potter related. It is a paper module book. Show it to you. So basically in the front there are some information on like the movies and I think the books, and then when you go into the back there are some paper stuff that you can put together. And it also has directions to follow to put these things together. And I am really excited to do some of these. They don't sound too difficult, but then again, we'll just have to wait and see on that. Okay, and then the next book, none of these are in any precise order. Some of them I'm going to hit multiple authors. Some of them are just one book from this author. So the very first book is called The Other Daughter by Lisa Gardner, and it is about, so I'm going to read you the back of the book because it's just easier than trying for me to read real quick and then explain it to you. I'm just going to read the back and then we're going to move on. So 20 years ago, Melanie Strode was abandoned in a Boston hospital, then adopted by a wealthy young couple. Gift with loving parents, a doting brother, and an intelligent uncle, Melanie had always considered herself lucky. Until the first threatening note arrives. You get what you deserve. Melanie has no memory of her life before the adoption. Now someone wants her to remember it all, even the darkest memories the Strode families ever faced, the murder of their first daughter. As Melanie pursues every lead and chases every shadow in the search of her real identity, 2 seamlessly unrelated events from her past will come together in a dangerous explosion of truth. And I got this at Barnes & Noble, and it wasn't very expensive. It was like $7.99. So that's the first book. The second book is by Lee Goldberg. It is called Lost Hills, and this one I got for Christmas. And this one, it is about a video of Deputy Evelyn off-duty arrest of an abusive movie star goes viral, turning her into a popular hero at a time when the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department is plagued by scandal. The sheriff, desperate for more positive press, makes Eva the youngest female homicide detective in department history. Now Eva, with a lot to learn and resented by her colleagues, has to justify her new badge. Her chance comes when she and her burned out, soon to be retired partner are called to a blood spatter home of a missing single mother and her 2 kids. The terrifying carnage screams multiple murders, but there are no corpses. Eva has to rely on her instincts and to find the bodies and capture the vicious killer, all while battling her own insecurities, mounting pressure from the media, her boss, and the bereaved family. It is a deadly ordeal that will either prove her skills or totally destroy her. This one I'm excited to read. I have looked at some of the reviews for this, and some of them are very positive, and some of them are not. I read fiction just as a way to enjoy. So I don't really care about facts so much. So a lot of the comments were basically saying, oh, like Los Angeles PD doesn't have a crime unit or a burglary unit. That stuff I really don't care about. I just care if the story's good and the characters are amazing. It's just basically my focus. But I guess it's different for certain people. The next book, it is going to be All of the Missing Girls by Megan Miranda. And this one is about, it's been 10 years since Nicolette Farrell left Cloney Ridge. 10 years since she broke up with Tyler, the man she thought she'd married. 10 years since her best friend disappeared, never to be heard from again. When the call comes that her father is ailing, Nick is living in Philadelphia, light years away from her younger self. She drops everything to care for her dad, but within days of her return, another girl goes missing, and Nick experiences a terrifying sense of deja vu. As Nick works to unravel what happened to the missing girls, shocking truths emerge about her neighbors, her family, and what really happened to her friend that night 10 years ago. I asked a couple of these books for Christmas. So I'm really excited to read this one. Pretty excited. I haven't looked at the reviews for this one. I kind of just want to be kind of totally surprised, and I kind of just want to go in knowing very, very little about this book. The next book, it's by Sarah A. I'm not even going to try and pronounce her last name, but it's called The Silent Child, and in the cover it says, her child has answers, but he can't tell her. The unspeakable. And this one I got for Christmas. This one was on my Amazon account. And I was kind of happy that I was able to get it. And I was able to get it hardbound, which I kind of like hardbound books better than paperback books. This one, there's not a very long introduction, but what readers are saying about The Silent Child is everyone buys this book. It's brilliant. I just keep reading it instead of cleaning. Now I'm sad it's ending. A tension haunting story which I had to finish in one sitting. What a fantastic read. Kept me on the edge of my seat till the end. Then the other one says, one of the best books I've read. I stayed up most of the night to read it. I read this book from cover to cover in one sitting. It's been a long time since a book has captivated me so much to do that. Gripping and full of twists and turns. Oh, okay. So on the very back of the book is the description. It says, in the summer of 2006, Emma Price watched helplessly as her 6-year-old son drowned in a red coat was ugh. In the summer of 2006, Emma Price watched helplessly as her 6-year-old son's red coat was fished out of the river. It was a tragic story of the year. A little boy, Aiden, wandered away from school during a terrible flood, fell into the river, and drowned. His body was never recovered. 10 years later, Emma has finally recovered, discovered the joy in life. She's married, pregnant, and in control again until Hayden returns. Too traumatized to speak, he raises endless questions and answers none. Only his body tells the story of his decade-long disappearance. The hysterical broken his, historic his historic broken bones and injuries cast a mere glimpse into the horrors Hayden has experienced. Hayden never drowned. Hayden was taken. As Emma attempts to reconnect with her now teenage son, she must unmask the monster who took him away from her. But who, in their tiny village, could who in their tiny village could be capable of such a crime? It's Hayden who has the answers, but he cannot tell her the unspeakable. This dark and disturbing psychological novel is a page turner and you will not be able to put it down. The Silent Child. So this one is very interesting. I have a lot of books by I think 2 different authors, technically 3 different authors that have to do with kids. One of them is another author. Lucintia Berry is the other author I have. I have a couple of her books that have to do with kids. So I'm kind of excited. So the next one, it is called It is called The Nothing Man. And it's by Catherine Ray Hayward. And this one, I saw someone book review this on BookTube a couple months ago. I think it was during Halloween. And she said that it's a good book. Like, it was a good book that everyone should read it. So I decided, why not? I put it on my Christmas list, and they got it for me. So I'm gonna read you the introduction, and then we'll talk about it. At the age of 12, Eva Black was the only member of her family to survive an encounter with a serial attacker, the Nothing Man. Now an adult, she is obsessed with identifying the man who destroyed her life. Supermarket security guard John Doyle has just started reading The Nothing Man, the true crime memoir Eva has written about her effort to track down her family's killer. As he turns each page, his rage grows because John's not just interested in reading about the Nothing Man. He is the Nothing Man. Jim soon begins to realize how dangerously close Eva is getting to the truth, and he knows she won't give up until she finds him. He has no choice but to stop her first. Okay, so that's interesting. So I've never had a book. I never had a book. Like, just reading the back tells you who it is, like, already. But I think since it has to do with the story, I'm kind of interested to see how she incorporates all of this stuff into her writing. I'm kind of excited to read that. So that is The Nothing Man. And you can get this off of Amazon, and I think they also had it at Barnes & Noble where I'm at. But if you can't find a Barnes & Noble, you can get it off of Amazon. And I think they also have it on Book of the Month. I think. Don't quote me on that. So the next book is by Tess Grierson. It's called The Surgeon, and This one is based, so these next 4 books are based on Rosalind Isles, the TV show. I am reading her books. So the first one is called The Surgeon. And this one, let's read. So this one, it says, I'm going to skip that part. Oh, I'll read it. In her most masterful novel of medical suspense, New York Times bestselling author Tess creates a villain of unforgettable evil and one woman who can catch him before he kills again. He slips into their houses at night and walks silently into bedrooms where women lie sleeping, unaware of the horrors they soon will endure. The perceive of a killer's methods suggest he is a son man of medical knowledge, pursuing the Boston newspaper and the frightening public to name him the surgeon. The cops' only clue rests with another surgeon, the victim of a nearly identical crime 2 years ago. Dr. Catherine Caldwell fought back and killed her attacker before he could complete his assault. Now she hides her fears of the infamous intimately behind a cold and by a cold and exterior, a well-earned reputation as a top trauma surgeon. Cole's careful is about to crack as the new killer recreates with chilling accuracy the details of Caldwell's own ordeal. With every new member, he seems to be taunting her, cutting ever closer from her hospital to her home. Her only comfort comes from Thomas More, the detective assigned to the case, but even more cannot protect Caldwell from a brilliant hunter who somehow understands and saviors. Savers? I think that's what it says. The secret of fears of every woman he kills. Filled with the details that is the trademark of this doctor's turned author, and people with rich and complex characters, from the ER to the squad room to the city morgue. There is a thriller of depth and suspense, exposing the shocking link between these killed and cured, punish and protect. The Surgeon is Tess' most exciting accomplishment yet. And it shows her on the back. So I'm kind of excited to read these ones too. I'm excited to read all of them. So the next one is called, and it's by the same author. And it says, it is a boiling hot Boston summer, adding the city's woes in a series of shocking crimes in which wealthy men are made to watch while their wives are brutalized. A sadist demands that ends in an abduction and death. The pattern suggests one man, serial killer, recently removed from the streets. Police can only assure that is at large. A maniac bashing his attacks on the twist medical techniques of the madman he so admires. At least that's what Detective Jane Rosoli thinks, forced again to confront the killer who shattered her, literally and figuratively. She is determined to finally end Caldwell's awful influence, even if it means receiving more resistance from her all-male homicide squad. But Rosoli isn't counting on the U.S. government, Senate interest, or on the meeting of Special Agent Gabriel Dean, who knows more than he will tell. Most of all, she isn't counting on becoming a target herself. Once Cole is suddenly free, joining his mysterious blood brother in a vicious vendetta. That's it. It just goes and talks about the author. So that is that one. That is the second book in this series. I didn't get all of them. I got 4 of them. And this other one is called Sinister. And this, Sinner, sorry. The Sinner. Let's see. Not even in the icy temperature of a typical New England winter can match the bone-chilling scene discovered in the early morning hours at the chapel of Our Lady of Diverse Light. Within the sanctuary walls of the convent, now stained with blood, lies 2 nuns, one dead, one critically injured, victims of an unspeakable savage attack. The brutal crime appears to be without motivation. The elderly nun can offer little help in the police investigation, but medical examiner Maura Isles' autopsies of the dead woman yields a shocking surprise. 20-year-old sister Camille, the other sister sole novice, gave birth before she was murdered. Then the disturbing case takes a stunning new turn when another woman is found murdered in an abandoned building, her body mutilated beyond recognition. Does it keep going? Yes, it does. Together, Isles and homicide detective Jane Rizzoli uncover an horror that connects these terrible slaughters as long as brutal secrets come to light. Maura Isles finds herself towards the heart of an investigation that trickles closer and closer to home and towards about a killer's identity too shattered to consider. So that is what this book is about. The next book in this series is called Body Double. And this one Boston medical examiner Dr. Maura Isles is literally met her match and must face a savage serial killer shattering personal revelations in the brilliant new novel of suspense, a New York Times bestselling author of The Surgeon and the Sinner. Dr. Maura Isles makes her living dealing with death. As a pathologist in a minor metropolitan city, she has seen more than her fair share of corpses every day, many of them victims of violent murder, but never before has her blood run cold, and never has the grim expression "dead ringer" so terrifyingly true, because ever before has the lifeless body on the medical examiner table been her own. Yet there can be no denial in the mind-reeling evidence before her shocking eyes that these of her colleagues, including Detective Jane Rizzoli, the woman found shot to death outside Maura's home, is a minor image of Maura, down to the most intimate physical details, even more chilling in its discovery that they share the same birth date and blood type. For the stunned Maura, an only child, there can just be one explanation. When a DNA test confirms Maura's mysterious doppelganger is in fact her twin sister, as already blazed murder investigates becomes a disturbing and dangerous into a past full of dark secrets. Searching for answers, Maura is drawn to a seaside town in Maine where other horrifying surprises await. Perhaps more frightening, an unknown murder is at large on a cross City killing spree. To stop the massacre and uncover the twisted truth about her own roots, Mara must her first living subject, the mother that she never knew, and the icy and cutting woman who could be responsible for giving Mara life, and who just may have had a plan to take it away. So that is Body Double. The next book I'm going to be talking about, it's called A Wounded Name by Dot Hutchison, and I have read 4 of her books. I've read the Butterfly Garden series, and this one, it's quite different. This one says, there's a girl who can throw herself head first into life and an unforgettable name. The identity that stands on its own without fathers or brothers or lovers who dare and shatter. And it says 16-year-old Ophelia will never be just another girl at her academy. Seeing a ghost is not a skill prized in future society wives, even when she takes her pills and been reminder of her promises to her dead mother. Now, in the wake of the headmaster's sudden death, the whole academy is in turmoil, and Ophelia can no longer ignore fate, especially once she starts seeing the headmaster's ghosts, 2 of them, on the school grounds. At the center of her trembling world is Dan, the headmaster's grieving son, who understands the power of a promise to a parent, even a dead one. To him, Ophelia is the only person not tainted and hypocritical, a manner of his own broken soul. And to Ophelia, Dan quickly becomes everything. Yet, even as she gives more of herself to him, Dan slips away. Constant by the suspicion, rage, and madness, he spirits towards his tragic fate, dragging Ophelia and the rest of the academy with him. So she sees ghosts. That's going to be interesting in a murder mystery type book. And the other 2 books I'm going to be talking about, this is going to be a 2-part video. So the other book I'm going to be talking about is The Perfect Stranger by Megan Miranda. And this one, it says, Leah Stevens has lost her job at the Boston paper and damaged her professional reputation beyond repair when she unexpectedly crossed paths with her old roommate, Emily Gray. 2 impulsively decide to relocate to a small town with hopes that they can leave their past behind them. But soon after their arrival, a woman who looks just like Leah is left for dead, and Emily goes exceptionally missing. The police are unable to find any trace of Emily. No accusation, no digital impression, no paper trail. As Leah searches for answers in the house they share, she begins to realize how very little she knows about her closest friend. Is it possible Emily Gray never existed at all? As Leah works to track down Emily, she becomes more and more uncertain about the motivations of the people around her. Whom can she trust? Kyle, the handsome young detective on the case, the concerned assistant principal, the teen students in her class who seem to know more than Leah herself. Soon her credibility is at stake, and Leah must confront her old demons, from some proof of Emily and figure out how she disappeared. But everyone in town has something to hide, including Leah. And how do you uncover the truth when you are busy hiding your own? So that is the other book. And the last book is a book I'm really, really excited to talk about. It is by Karin Slaughter, and it is called Coptown. And this one, I don't know very much. So this one takes place in Atlanta. So it says Atlanta, 1974. As a brutal murder and a fierce manhunt rocks the city police department, Kate Murphy wonders if her first day on the job will be her last. She is determined to she is defined her privileged background by making her own way, wearing a badge, carrying a gun. But for a beautiful young woman, life will be anything but easy in the macho world of the Atlanta PD, where even the female cops have little mercy for rookies. It also is the worst day possible to start, given that a beloved cop has been gunned down. His brother in blue are out for blood, and the city on the edge of war. Kate isn't the only woman on the force who's feeling the heat. Maggie Lawson follows her uncle and brother into the ranks to prove her worth in their eyes. When she and Kate, her new partner, are pushed out of the city-wide search for a cop killer, their fury, pain, and pride finally reach a boiling point. With a killer positioned to strike again, they will pursue their own lines of investigation, risking everything as they rush into the city's darkest heart. Restless pace, acute, observant, wickedly funny, and often heartbreaking, Coptown is Karin Slaughter's most powerful novel yet. A force of storytelling for her most famous master of characters and suspense. So I have one more thing to talk about before I end this video. And I got some bookmarks, Harry Potter related bookmarks. One of them says, Master has presented Dobby with clothes. Dobby is free. And then the other one says, what's coming will come, and we'll meet it when it does. Hagrid. So I got those two bookmarks for my books. And you guys, as always, please like and subscribe to my channel. And the next video will be the part 2 of this one. And we